Yes, I am so excited for this one, Alex. I meet so many people who are tired of grammar books and boring lists of words. They want the shortcut. Is there actually an easy way, or is that just a myth?
It's not a myth, Julia, but it does require a shift in how you think. The easiest way isn't about studying harder, it's about living the language. We are going to break this down into 7 simple rules that anyone can follow.
7 rules? I love that. Okay, so what is the first step? Where do we even start if we feel overwhelmed?
Rule number 1 is stop studying individual words.
Wait, what? But Alex, don't we need words to speak? How can I talk if I don't learn words?
Think of it like a puzzle, Julia. If I give you one tiny piece, you don't know where it goes. But if I give you a phrase, I am giving you a small piece of the picture already put together. Instead of learning the word decision, learn the phrase make a decision. It's much more natural.
Oh, I see. So I don't have to think about the grammar of how to connect the words because they're already connected. That's actually a huge relief.
Exactly. It's much faster for your brain. Now, rule number 2, listen first.
Listen first? Like music or movies?
Yes, think about a baby. A baby doesn't read a textbook to learn to speak, right? They listen for months and months before they say a single word. You need to soak your brain in the sound of English, even if you don't understand everything yet. Just let the sounds wash over you.
So I should basically have English playing in the background while I'm cooking or driving, even if I'm just catching 10% of it?
Yes, consistency is more important than intensity. 15 minutes every single day is better than 3 hours once a week.
Okay, I'm listening to phrases, I'm soaking my brain in the sounds. What's next? What is rule number 3?
This one is my favorite, the 80-20 rule.
I've heard of this in business. How does it work for English?
Well, in English, about 80% of daily conversations use only 20% of the vocabulary. You don't need to learn academic English or Shakespeare English to have a coffee with a friend. Focus on the common words, the words you use in your own life every day.
That makes it feel so much smaller. I don't need the whole dictionary, just the gold words, the ones that actually matter.
Precisely. Now, rule number 4, use your body.
Use my body? Like dancing? Are we dancing now, Alex?
Maybe, but what I mean is action. When you learn the word jump, you should actually jump. When you say, I'm tired, lean your head on your hand. When you connect a physical movement to a word, your brain locks it into your long-term memory much faster. We call this total physical response.
That is so cool. It's like making a movie in my head where I'm the actor. It makes it feel like a game instead of a chore.
Exactly. It should be fun, which leads us to rule number 5, tell stories.
Stories? But I can't even explain my day yet. How can I tell a story?
Start very, very small. Use the point of view method. Tell a tiny story about a cat. The cat is hungry. Then tell it in the past. The cat was hungry. This teaches you grammar without rules. You feel the change in time. You don't study it, you experience it.
Wow. So I'm not memorizing past tense tables. I'm just changing the time of the story. That feels so much more human.
It is. It's how we are designed to learn. Rule number 6 is errors are your friends.
Oh, Alex, I hate making mistakes. I get so embarrassed when my tongue gets twisted.
I know, but listen to me carefully, Julia. If you aren't making mistakes, you aren't growing. Every mistake is a sign that your brain is trying something new. Be proud of those mistakes. They are the growing pains of your new language.
Okay, I'm going to try to smile the next time I mess up a word. It's just a sign of progress.
That's the spirit. And finally, rule number 7, find your why.
My why? Like my reason?
Yes, if you learn English because you have to, you will quit. If you learn English because you want to watch your favorite movies, or talk to people from around the world, or get a better job to help your family, that will keep you going when it gets tough.
So it's about the heart, not just the head.
Always. English is not a subject to be studied. It is a tool to be used. Use it to connect, to learn, and to explore.
Alex, this was amazing. I feel so much more confident already. It's not about being perfect, it's about being curious.
Exactly. You've got this, Julia. And to everyone listening, you've got this too. Start small, listen a lot, and don't forget to enjoy the journey.
Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Goodbye for now.
Alex, wait. Before we go, I have so many more questions. We talked about the rules, but how do we actually do it today? Like, right now?
I'm glad you asked, Julia. Knowledge without action is just a daydream. Let's dive deeper into the daily routine of a successful learner. This is where the magic happens.
Yes, give us the secret sauce. What does a perfect English day look like? Do I need to wake up at 4 a.m. and study for 5 hours?
Haha, no, not at all. That is the fastest way to burn out. The secret is micro-learning.
Micro-learning? That sounds small. Is it just doing tiny bits?
Exactly. Think of your brain like a sponge. If you pour a whole bucket of water on a sponge at once, most of it just splashes off and stays on the floor. But if you drip water on it slowly, drop by drop, the sponge stays wet all day.
Oh, I love that metaphor. So how do I drip English into my day?
Step 1. The morning echo.
The morning echo? Do I have to shout in a canyon?
Not quite. When you wake up, find a short audio clip, maybe a 30-second clip of a person speaking natural English. Listen to it once, then try to say it exactly like them. Mimic their voice, mimic their emotion.
So if they sound happy, I sound happy. If they sound tired, I sound tired.
Precisely. This trains your mouth muscles. English uses different muscles than your native language. You are basically going to the English gym for 1 minute while you brush your teeth.
I can do that. 1 minute is nothing. What about the rest of the day? I'm so busy at work.
This is where we use dead time.
Dead time? That sounds a bit scary, Alex.
Haha, it's not. Dead time is the time when your body is busy but your brain is free. Commuting on the bus, standing in line for coffee, folding laundry. Use this time for rule number 2, passive listening.
Right, the soaking part. Should I listen to news or podcasts like this one?
Listen to things you enjoy. If you like cooking, listen to a cooking show in English. If you like football, listen to a match. If it's boring in your own language, it will be double boring in English. Keep it interesting.
That makes sense. If I'm interested, I'll actually pay attention. But Alex, what if I don't have anyone to talk to? That's the biggest problem for most of us. I'm alone in my room.
This is a very common fear. But here's a secret. You don't need another person to practice speaking.
Wait, am I supposed to talk to myself? Won't people think I'm, a bit crazy?
Maybe. No, but it works. I call this the narrator technique. Imagine you are the star of a movie. Narrate your life as you do it. I am opening the fridge. I am looking for the milk. Oh, we are out of milk. I need to go to the store.
I can see myself doing that. Julia is typing an email. She is very tired. It's like being the director of my own life.
Exactly. It forces your brain to find the words for real things, not textbook things like the pen is on the table. Who says that in real life? No one. You need to say, where did I put my keys?
Okay, I'm narrating. I'm echoing, I'm soaking. What about the evening? How do we wrap up the day?
In the evening, we do the 5-word review.
Only 5? That seems too easy.
It's easy so that you do it. Look back at your day. What were 5 things you saw or felt? Write them down in a small notebook. Not just the word, remember, the phrase. A beautiful sunset, a delicious pizza, a long meeting. Just 5.
And then I sleep and let my brain process it?
Yes, your brain does the heavy lifting while you sleep. It organizes the drops of water you gave it throughout the day.
Julia, this feels so doable. It's not a mountain anymore. It's just a few small habits.
That's the goal, Julia. Don't try to be a master in a day. Just try to be 1% better than yesterday. That's the real easiest way.
I love that. 1% better. I can do 1%. Thank you, Alex. This was the deep dive I needed.
My pleasure. Remember, everyone, English is a gift you give to yourself. Be patient with yourself.
And be kind to yourself. See you all next time. Happy learning.
Goodbye, everyone.
Welcome back, everyone. Today we are going to talk about something that feels like a mountain to climb for many people, learning English. But what if I told you that the mountain is actually a series of very small, manageable steps?